Very good. Thank you. There's so much to do here. I remember the ship that you see. Over to you see the top part of it. That ship was built as a navy ship during slavery. That ship was in the Atlantic Ocean and held the colonists who wanted to enslave Africans to bring them here. And so in 1808, that ship was out in the ocean to say no more enslavement coming across the Atlantic Ocean. But of course, much continued underground. But certainly that's a site that you want to tour because that's significant. Yes, the USS Constellation, which is certainly significant in that particular era of horror for a culture of people. Here we can appreciate our science center, we can appreciate our aquarium, and we can appreciate the sports enthusiasts that come for our Orioles. Hopefully they have a good year this year. Our Ravens down here, they didn't have a good year, but they've done a lot of trading. They've done a lot of things to get new bodies with skills that's going to help us get back to the Super Bowl again. And certainly when you come to this section of the harbor, you want to think about food as well, the eateries, and all that we have to offer here to have people entertained. Think about all the number of hotels that have been built. When I came here in 1960, very few were down at the harbor. Certainly the Baltimore Hotel was here, but I'm seeing all the ones that were built to accommodate lodging for people who love coming to this city. It has become one of the most significant places that people love to come, eat, and socialize and have a good time. And we're not too far from the expressways that would take us to the airport to bring people in. And so much can be said about the changes over the past 30 years to this section of Baltimore City.
The Women's Industrial Exchange is just one of the wonderful spots in Maryland. It's a landmark because it represents us, the people of Maryland. So while you're waiting for your food, not only do you get a good meal, but you also get a good lesson in history. The walls are covered with photographs, and of course the exchange itself sells items that are made by Marylanders, locals, who decided they wanted to sell their goods right here. You also get a little history of what happened here in Maryland before and after the Civil War, because this is an outgrowth of the Civil War. Women needed a place to earn a little money discreetly, and the Women's Industrial Exchange came about as a way of helping the home crafty women, women who could sew and weave, gave them an outlet for their goods and services so they could earn money immediately after the Civil War. This was a very, very important part of Maryland culture. Oh, and by the way, we're seated at a table that's dedicated to Barbara Mikulski. You see, every table here at the Women's Industrial Exchange is dedicated to some famous Marylander. And that Marylander's table has their picture all over the table. And here we are at the Barbara Mikulski table.
Give it to Diane.
Yes, so what do you want? The restaurant's yours. We're closed except for you. Yeah, please, come on.
I was thinking of you when she said younger person. I know, it does seem a little younger than one. But this is very more should be here.
Yeah.
something I want to do on Twitter. She's really good at explaining it. And I've worked with her, but she's pretty sure come and help with the set.
My family and I moved there in the year 2000, and they moved there because of the school system. Primarily, I have three brothers, and we were all in school, so they were like, well, we need to get them somewhere where they get a good education.
Where did you move from?
Arkansas.
Somebody earlier, if you're going to do a tour around Baltimore, you absolutely must stop here at the Women's Industrial Kitchen. We are a Baltimore institution. How many of you, before I tell you a little spiel about who we are and what we do, how many of you, show of hands, have been here at the Exchange before? A fair number. All right. How many of you have been a volunteer or a board member at the Exchange before? I always like to ask that question because amazingly, not amazingly, but there are many times people sprinkle that I've never met, and I want to make sure that I meet and hear a little bit about your experience with the Exchange. So I'm just going to, while you're eating, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and tell you a little bit about our history, and welcome questions that you have, and just I'm going to invite you to stay, enjoy, until I get you on the bus. We've got a time limit. But also, please come back and visit. We just love to be a hostess.
Tell us who you are again.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Sometimes I forget myself. So my name is Stephanie Halley. I am the executive director of the Women's Industrial Exchange. And so, on behalf of our team of folks who work here in the shop, of Irene and her staff who head up the kitchen, and our board of directors, and the many folks who support us, we welcome you. So just a little bit about our history. We've been around for a while. 1880, in fact. We've been around since 1880. I challenge you to find another nonprofit that's been around that long. There aren't very many of them, I can tell you. Not that many can last quite that long, but we're a strong lady. We are a strong lady. So in 1880, it was shortly after the Civil War. Men either had not come home from war, or they came home missing limbs, much less able to provide, brain injuries, and they were having trouble putting food on the table. So the women in our city looked around and said, what are we going to do? How are we going to make ends meet? How am I going to feed my children? How am I going to pay this mortgage? How am I going to get by? And they did not have, as you may have heard, they did not have the type of opportunities that we have today. Today, I can start my own business. Today, I can go out and get one of many different types of jobs. But then, that just wasn't the case. And so they looked around and they were trying to come up with an idea. And a woman by the name of Mrs. Harmon Brown gathered about 20 women in her home. And she said, you know what? You do really good crocheting. And you are an excellent quilter. And your preserves, everybody loves your preserves that you make. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sell them. This thing that we do, right, these skills that we have, we're going to use them and we're going to make money with them to feed our families. And out of those 20 women, 15 people said, nope, that's illegal. We're not allowed to do that in this day and age. And they walked out the door. And five women standing said, desperate times, desperate measures. We're going to do this anyway. So Mrs. Harmon Brown said, we're going to use my house. We're going to do it secretly. I'm not going to tell anybody whose things they are that I'm selling. So she was protecting everybody else, and she took on that risk. And they started selling out of her kind of Tupperware life, right? They started selling out of her living room. And before you knew it was boom. People were flocking to get the things that she was selling because they were good. Because we make good things, don't we? And they were, and other women started to flock to her and say, you know what? Maybe you should sell my things. maybe now I'll try it. And so people were flocking to her home, and soon it got too big for her living room. And with very shortly, right around the corner, Saratoga and Holiday Streets, they opened a shop. They opened a storefront. And people came, and more people came. And by the end of the 1887, they moved into this building. They opened the shop in the building. And by the end of the decade, they started in 1880, and by the end of the decade, in 1889, they bought this building. Those women made enough things, gathered enough funds to purchase this very building. How wonderful. How wonderful. And so, that was the beginning, right? That was the beginning of our history. So we've been in this great building, this great old lady for a long time. And what's happened in this building is that through time, as you can see, you walk through our shop and we invite you to shop fast before you get on the bus. What you'll see in there is exactly what you would have seen, maybe different products. But similarly, as if you would have been here 100 years ago, there are things that are made from our people. I say our, I don't make a thing out there. I wish I could. My grandmother, my mother, many people I know and love do. I don't have to. But we've got a lot of great women who do. And you'll see the types of things that we make with our hands. And you'll see the value that they have. And you'll appreciate it. I'm a great appreciator of what we make with our hands. And so we've been doing this through the years. Just recently, I'll say, so we've had a shop here for years, and not too long after that, they decided to open a tea room, right? And so in this space, that in the upstairs space that we have, people used to come to tea. They said, if they're gonna come to shop, let's feed them while they're here. And so in the day, it was a tea room, and I mean like white glove tea room. And the who's who of Baltimore City was seen here in this tea room. And reporters have a lunch counter downstairs. Reporters would hang out on the lunch counter and they would see who would walk and who would come in and out of the Women's Industrial Exchange. We have guest books that have names of unbelievable people who would come to town and tea at the Women's Industrial Exchange. How fun. So the tea room stayed open for a number of years, and then something happened in about 1929, which you may know a little bit about. Things tanked. People weren't coming to tea anymore. People weren't spending money, they weren't getting dressed up, they were trying to figure out how to get through the day. And so, the folks who ran the tea room said, okay, we're going to close up shop. And there was a group of women, and for those of you who are on this side, you can't see, but those of you who are on this side, there's a picture right here above the fireplace of a group of women. At the time, those women were in their teens. They're not in their teens in this picture. Take a look on the way out. At the time, those women in their teens, and they were working in the back in the kitchen. They were dishwashers. And as the crew who was running the place went out, they said, I don't think we're done here. I don't think we're done here. Times change, people change, we should change. So what should we do? People still need food. They just need a different kind of eating and dining experience. They need chicken salad. They need tomato acid. They need soup. They need real people's food at real people's prices. And they changed the exchange and opened the lunchroom. And here you sit in the lunchroom, right? And these women worked from the time they made that decision until into their 80s and some of them 90s. The same group of women worked together. And if you would have been here in those years, you'd have come in, they probably would have known your name. They would have asked you about what was going on in your life. And they'd have told you what was going on in theirs. And those women were a community. Those women were a family. That's what happens here at the exchange. We eat, we sell things, we like to shop. But what happens here at the exchange is community. What happens here at the exchange is when life happens, we come together. When life isn't happening the way we want it to happen, we figure out a way to rise. And we do that together. We're about community, and we're about helping others, helping each other take that step up. That's what we're about. And so today, where are we today? We're still eating good food. I hope you're eating some good food. We're still eating some good food. We're still making some great things and selling those things. And we're still about that sense of community and that spirit of being together. In addition to that, we're growing what it means to do that. What do I mean by that? Back in 1880, if you'd have sold 2 quilts, you'd have probably been okay for quite a while. That would have put food on the table for quite a while. If you sell 2 quilts now in our store, it's not going to get very well. And so one of the things that we're doing, a lot of what we're doing right now, is not just helping folks to sell their goods. That's absolutely what we're about doing, and sell more of their goods. We're also about helping them to figure out What does it mean? Many of them have small businesses. What does it mean to run that small business? I may be great at the craft that I do, but I'm having trouble figuring out how to deal with the money side. I may need to sell more of these, so I may need to put them on the internet. I may need to get a website. I don't know anything about doing a website. And so the types of things that we do, we offer financial literacy classes to help women figure that out. We offer Business 101. Next week we're going to have Business Plan 101, right? Here's how to write your business plan so that you can grow this thing that you do. So we're about helping not to just put money directly into the pockets of women, but to help them grow their worth and their value. The money is one piece of it. What happens, what I love to watch when I'm in here, is when our consigners come in and they see what's sold, the folks who make things in the shop, when they come in and they see which ones of their things have sold, what I take home with me at night is the expression on their face. I take home with me, oh, somebody like that one? That's so great. What it means to the women that we serve to have other people value their work. That to me is why I get up in bed. That to me is worth celebrating. And that to me is worth the next 33 years of this place. We're doing something right. So we thank you so much for being, for celebrating our history with us and for being a part of history in the making. Really, thank you so much. And I know that you're on a schedule. As you finish, please feel free to come in and browse, see some of the great things that women are making, and please come back and visit. Thank you so much.
Mention the tables.
Sorry, one more.
I said mention the tables.
So the tables. So there's a question over here about the tables. I want to let you know that Irene Smith, who is the owner of this kitchen now, really it was her hands and her kids' hands who are part of making these tables. You are sitting with Maryland's women, both each other and the women who are on your table. There are famous women, there are not so famous women, there are reporters and actresses and columnists and teachers and advocates. There are a little bit of every woman. Women from Maryland or part of Maryland who made our history. So enjoy each other and enjoy the women who want to.
I have a lot of footage of the tables. From other shoots, I have a lot of footage of the tables, so I can put them in when she says it.
We've got a sign-up sheet up by the cash register, so please let your emails on so you know what's going on here. We'd like to come get part of your environment.
Where they prepare the food and serve it to the customers and guests, and I'm just amazed. The menu is fantastic. There's a Bridge Club sampler that features pasta and salad and potato salad and broccoli and cheese salad. I mean, it's a wonderful menu, and all of it's very homey, if I can say it that way. Oh, it's home cooking based. These are not the fancy smancy foods. These are the foods that are your bread and butter of Maryland cuisine, and I'm just fascinated. There's even one item on here called Chef Ontario's Shrimp and Grits. Shrimp and Grits. Fellas, ladies, we're in the South, y'all, and we're going to have a good time here at the Women's Industrial Exchange in the restaurant tea room. Wow, that is beautiful. It's watermelon with fresh lettuce and sliced tomatoes, and it's sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. It looks fantastic. Very colorful, very exciting. I just can't wait to have this meal here at the Women's Industrial Exchange. Wow. My compliments to the chef. This was absolutely delicious. Fresh ground pepper, fresh cherry tomatoes, cilantro, which is a vegetable that I don't get often, but it's an Italian cultural sort of a vegetable, and the feta cheese. It was delicious. Oh, and by the way, we're seated at a table that's dedicated to Barbara Mikulski. You see, every table here at the Women's Industrial Exchange is dedicated to some famous Marylander. And that Marylander's table has their picture all over the table. And here we are at the Barbara Mikulski table. Ooh, that looks great. Fellas, that's Ontario shrimp and grits. Ontario shrimp and grits. Wow, I'm in for a feast. What's that?
It's a broccoli and cheese salad.
Broccoli and cheese salad. Oh, we're gonna have a good time here. Trina's broccoli and cheese. I'm gonna try this. Broccoli. I love all vegetables. Broccoli is one of the vegetables I have to get accustomed to. So let's see what happens here. That's a pretty big piece, but I think I can handle it. Won me over. Fresh broccoli with the cheese on it and spiced up just perfectly. I'm gonna have to ask the chef the secret ingredient because it's just wonderful flavor. The aroma is still permeating my mouth. It's soft, moist. The coolness of the salad is perfect for summer. The flavors are just bursting in my mouth. It's wonderful. This is the Trina's broccoli and cheese salad. Lovely. Now these are grits. That's ground corn that's boiled just right, and it's southern food. Perfect, perfect. Cheese mixed in, and the shrimp is cooked in what looks like olive oil, and with the fresh corn and tomatoes on top of it, I have a wonderful flavor of summer in Maryland. I am enjoying this. Cheese, grits, and shrimp. It's called Ontario Shrimp and Grits right here at the Women's Industrial Exchange. The flavors are fantastic. Wow. All right, I'm here at the Women's Industrial Exchange at 333 North Charles Street in downtown Baltimore, and I'm with the chef, Ontario. Hi. I enjoyed the meal.
Thank you very much.
And the beverage was just terrific. It was cola. Tell us about the Ontario shrimp and grits.
Well, it's the Ontario shrimp and grits, but it's kind of a modern take on traditional food because we try to do modernized comfort food. We try to keep the integrity of your grandmother's cooking, home-style cuisine, and we just take it up a notch. So we took the regular shrimp and grits and put tomato jam on it to kind of give it some spice and some sweetness, and we used local corn from the farmer's market.
Your background. How did you learn how to cook like this?
Well, I learned in my grandfather's kitchen. My grandfather was a very talented cook, and he used to bring us parts home like beef tongue and beef liver, and he really embraced growing your own food at home and making it very flavorful and using every part of every animal. So he made me interested in cooking, and I said, wow, I want to be a chef. So I went to high school for culinary to restaurant management, and then I worked in a bunch of different kitchens in order to become a chef.
Where were you raised at?
I was born and raised in Baltimore.
In Baltimore?
I've been here all my life.
You sound like you're from Georgia or something. You know, all this food, the tongues and
Well, my grandfather is from the South. He was born in North Carolina. So.
There you go. I knew there was a southern connection there. Baltimore. You say Baltimore, most people start talking about, well, I can do this in the microwave.
Baltimore cuisine is actually progressing quite a bit. I mean, we have a ton of chefs who shop at the farmers market under the JFK branch, and we have a ton of chefs that are really embracing Baltimore cuisine and Maryland cuisine and rockfish, corn, tomatoes, like everything in Maryland is really good for that. So.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Fellas, hey, the woman can cook, okay? The woman can cook, all right? That's all I'm going to say about that, all right? You take it from there. How do you want to go in the future with this?
In the future, I mean, eventually all chefs want to own their own restaurant, but right now I'm just working here and, trying to get my foot in the door in the Baltimore food scene, and then who knows what's going to happen.
All right, she'll have her own TV show, folks. She's on her way. I really enjoyed Trina's broccoli and cheese. That was really good. Salad. Where'd that actually come from?
Well, in the fall we had a broccoli casserole that people really, really enjoyed, but for the summer menu we wanted to make things lighter, and we wanted to have kind of like potato salads and pasta salads and broccoli salads, because when you go to your grandmother's home, what do you eat? You
That's
always
right.
have
Rib
pasta
stick and
salad.
rib
Yeah,
food.
exactly. You really have food that sticks with you and brings forth that childhood memory of playing outside and having your grandparents cook you a nice barbecue. So we wanted to kind of bring that feeling into this building and make people feel at home, because where are you? You're in someone's home when you come in to eat. So.
Well, what is the most popular item here? What is the most tend to order?
Well, our most popular item right now is actually dessert. It's our s'mores ice cream sandwich. It's a toasted marshmallow ice cream with a graham cracker cookie pie and a chocolate ganache, and people just love that. As far as the salads, our watermelon salad is a popular choice, and our entrees, the chicken salad with double eggs and tomato aspic, is really popular. It's kind of what we're known for. Every time people hear about our restaurant, they ask about the tomato aspic, so it's a pretty cool item.
And how long have you been here at the Exchange?
I actually just started a month ago, but the Exchange has been open for about 7 months now. So I'm fairly new, but it's becoming a really good venture. Like, we just changed this menu 2 weeks ago, and everything is really looking good. So.
All right, well, folks, a good reason to come down now. We have Ontario here, and she is doing the wonderful Maryland cuisine in a very unique way. Any suggestions for first-time visitors to the Exchange?
Oh, no, not at all. It's a very open space. You just come in, you sit yourself anywhere. Every table is dedicated to a woman in Baltimore, and you'll enjoy yourself for lunch.
All right, well, I want to thank you, Ontario, and keep cooking, girl. Whatever that means, keep cooking.